Welcome back to the Spread Pick'em Show, week number 5 here with Mike and Andrew. And Andrew's coming off a good week, and he gained no ground on me because I am just the best there is, apparently. Andrew cannot gain any ground, and I'm going to win this year once again, and we still don't have a punishment. So once again, leave in the comments what the punishment should be for the loser because we still don't really have one. We were debating like maybe we should wear a Cowboys jersey on here. But last year we kind of did the same thing and Andrew wore a Giants jersey. So maybe you want to switch it up a bit. I don't know. Let us know in the comments what punishments we should have. Anyway, how you doing, buddy? I mean, I just talked to you for 30 minutes. How you doing, though?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Well, I mean, I'm not doing well. Today sucked, but I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
How's that?
Big Yankee fan over here. A little disappointed, obviously, but it is what it is, and hopefully they fix it next year. All right, so last week, let's go over some of the results here. So overall our records are mine's 36-27-1, Andrew's 29-34-1. So a little catching up to do here, but he got the Thursday night game right. I got it wrong. I took the Bengals. I got the Giants game wrong. He took the Giants. Kudos to Andrews. I took the Saints. And then I went on a big win streak here. I took the Chiefs, I took the Bills, I took the Cowboys, I took the Browns, and I took the Colts. You got a couple losses in there. You took the Texans. Why the hell did you take the Texans? They scored 0 points. What are you doing?
I figured an NFL team should be able to cover a 17-point spread. That's what I just guessed.
Is where you went wrong. No. That's not it. You took the Vikings as well. Both took the Titans, so thanks, Jets. Got that one wrong. Both took the Bears, got a win. Both took Washington. Thank you, Atlanta, for always choking. I took the Rams. They lost the game, of course, outright. You took Arizona's underdogs. You got the win. I took Seattle as underdogs, got that win. You took San Fran, who got the loss. Both took Green Bay, W for us. I took Denver, loss for me. You took the Baltimore Ravens. That game wasn't really close. Both took the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I still feel if the game wasn't rainy, I feel like Tampa would have won by more, but it is what it is. That was a close game there. And then I won $10 on you. You just Venmoed me. Thank you very much on Monday Night Football as the Chargers covered the 3.5 spread against the Las Vegas Raiders. So let's get into week number 5 here. We start on Thursday Night Football, and it is actually a really good matchup. Some of the Thursday night games suck. This one should be a good one here. This is the Los Angeles Rams. They are at the Seattle Seahawks, and the Rams are a -2.5, and we're both going to go with the Rams.
Yeah, I feel like they need a bounce-back win, right? Like they got embarrassed at home by an Arizona Cardinals team that's very, very good. So they shouldn't be too down on themselves, but they did lose at home and they got crushed. So I feel like Sean McVay's can get in that room. He's a great, great, great game planner. He's going to get in that room and he's going to try and expose that Seattle defense as much as possible. My hope is they get out to a lead at halftime because then I will be sitting pretty. Because they don't lose when they are winning at halftime. I think the bottom line is I think there are going to be drives where the Rams defense can stop Russell Wilson, and I don't think there's going to be many drives when the Seattle defense can stop the Rams offense. They have a lot of talent all around the field. They can run the ball. They can pass the ball. They have a more competent quarterback. They can get outside the pocket easier, throw on the run, throw the deep ball. It's really going to be a high-scoring affair, and I feel like in a shootout, I feel like with the Rams' defense, it doesn't really allow Seattle to keep up. So I'm going to go with the Rams here. It's only by about a field goal, and I think that's a very possible outcome in this game.
Yeah, I don't have much of an argument, honestly. I know that Seattle's crowd's going to be very loud, of course, and all that. But I just think on paper the Rams are a much better team. And I do think coming off that loss, as you mentioned, is going to definitely impact this game. I feel like there is some urgency there. They just lost to an Arizona Cardinals team that's still undefeated and kind of can pull away in the standings here if they lose this game again. So I trust Sean McVay, of course. I know Pete Carroll has been around forever and still a good coach in his own right. I guess the one way Seattle can exploit them here, actually, I'm wrong about that because their run defense is actually pretty good. But I don't even know how they can exploit them because I feel like the Rams defense up and down is pretty damn good, as we know. Like, of course, you could put Ramsey on Metcalf and maybe Tyler Lockett beats them deep. But I feel like the Rams defense is good enough to take that out. You know what I mean? So Tyler Lockett's been quiet for a couple weeks in a row here. So I don't know. I mean, Seattle's going to have to be very just consistent offensively. There's going to be some big plays, of course, at some points, but they can't have too many 3-and-outs. And it took them a while to get going last week against the Niners. It took them to like the late second quarter to finally get some offense going. They can't have that in a game like this because we know that the Rams are going to put up points against a Seattle secondary that has not been that great, as we know. And there was a breakdown last week where Deebo Samuel got way behind them for a 70-something yard touchdown. Can't have that this week here against the Rams. So I don't know. I don't feel good about it. It's tough picking Thursday night games, but I'll take the better roster here. The spread's only 2.5. So we'll both go with the Rams there, and we'll probably lose, but we'll see. Anyway, this is a game I feel good about for some odd reason. I never picked the Jets, but it's the New York Jets at the Atlanta Falcons. This game is in London, so technically it's like nobody's home field. But anyway, Atlanta's a -3. As I said, I'm taking the Jets, and you're going to take the Falcons.
Yeah, give me the Falcons. I'm a Jets kind of guy. Like I don't root for the Jets to not have success. I'm not a New York fan when it comes to football, so I don't really mind what the Jets do. And honestly, I prefer that they have success. I would love a season in which the Jets are better than the Giants. I would love to just be around for that, and it's happened a few times, but I was pretty young. But I think their win over the Titans maybe fluctuates this line a little bit. I think the Falcons played very well against a Washington team that I respect a lot more than I respect the Jets team. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself on the Jets, and which I usually tend to do. So I feel like I'm being very responsible by not. I'm almost learning the game in a sense by not picking the Jets here because last year, who knows? I might have tried to pick a streak and try and bet the Jets here, but I'm not going to do that. Look, this Jets offense was horrible before last week, and that's the bottom line. I understand the Titans' defense is very bad, and so is the Falcons, but the Falcons' offense has been able to move the ball ever since Cordell Patterson has had a really big impact, and I think they have a chance to just absolutely blow up this Jets defense, and maybe the Jets offense can keep up. I don't know. I still view the Falcons as a better offense, and that Jets defense is not very good. And to only be favored by a field goal against the New York Jets at home, I feel like they're doing the Falcons a little bit dirty, and I think the Falcons are going to cover the spread. And I'd really like to hear your reasoning as to why you're picking the Jets.
Got a couple of big ones here. First off, I'll bet you on this game if you want. I'll do real money again. We'll talk about it after. But if you want to bet this game, I'll do money line. That favors me. Actually, no, it doesn't favor me. No. Yeah. Maybe. Okay. I'll let you know. I'll see how I'm feeling at 9 a.m. on Sunday. But anyway, my reasons for this is that you said the Jets don't have a good defense. Secondary-wise, agree. Even linebackers kind of agree. I mean, C.J. Mosley's back. But their pass rush has been getting at it this year. They sacked Ryan Tannehill 7 times last week, and their defensive pressure has actually been very impressive. And we know Atlanta's offensive line, not that good. I mean, their left tackle and right guard spot's good, but the rest of the offensive line kind of sucks. So if you have Matt Ryan who can't move back there, plus a bad offensive line, then you add on the Jets getting a lot of defensive pressure, I feel like the Jets can kind of exploit that matchup. Now, of course, Kyle Pitts and even Calvin Ridley can go stupid against the secondary. I think Marcus May, their best secondary player, could be out for this game. I'm not sure. But all I know is that the Jets front four is going to get a lot of pressure in this game, and that could be enough to throw the entire thing off. Now, for the Jets on offense, they got Jamison Crowder back, as we know last week, who is a very solid slot receiver in this league. And I think I saw that the Falcons lost their slot corner, Isaiah Oliver. So if you put a backup slot corner on the slot receiver from Jamison Crowder, he probably will get 10-plus targets, and they'll take advantage of that. We know Corey Davis is making a big impact. Even freaking, Keelan Cole is making an impact for this team. Denzel Mims was finally active last week. I feel like they have enough weapons. And some of Zach Wilson's throws last week were jaw-dropping. I mean, just rolling out to the right on the run and throwing the ball 60 yards to, I think it was Keelan Cole, and one of them to Corey Davis. He points, go all the way downfield, and he reaches them. So Zach Wilson is showing some of that just arm talent he has, and the ability to make some plays off script. So it was impressive, and I think he can build off that against an Atlanta defense that is not that scary. So I'm going to take the Jets. I have my reasons. I never picked the Jets on here, so hopefully they back me up here. So on to the 1 o'clock games. This should be a pretty close, good game here, especially based on the spread. But we have the New Orleans Saints. They are at the Washington football team. New Orleans is a -2 on the road. I'm taking Washington, and you're taking the Saints.
Did I take the Saints?
You Do you
I
want
don't
to
think I
change?
did. I don't think I did, buddy.
Let me check
My
the.
text says Washington football
I
team.
know because your first message said NO, so I'm sorry. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
you made
All
an
right. Well,
error. There you go.
I'm gonna go with Washington there.
There
Okay.
you go.
Because I was almost like shocked. I was like, I don't think I went with the Saints. Like, why would I go with the Saints? The way I'm viewing this is maybe I'm being too simplistic about this, but the way I view this game is I think the Washington football team is very much like that Giants team in general, and maybe they don't have the offensive performance that Daniel Jones was able to get last week against the Saints and Taylor Heineke. But I view those two teams as very similar, and based on the way the Giants played the Saints last week, I think there's a chance that Washington could win this game at home. They're underdogs at home by 2 points. And again, I just don't think they're too far off that Giants team. I think their defense is slowly improving. I think you're going to start to see that more here. And I think the Saints offense in general is kind of, not been consistent enough for me to pick them against a defense that's improving in the Washington football team. I'm not confident in the Washington's offense. I think they're very inconsistent as well. But I think Taylor Heineke has kind of proved that he's a competent quarterback in the league that can make throws when he needs to, and he can do some tight window throws. And you know what? I'm just going with my gut on this one, and my gut says Washington.
Right. I'm picking Washington as well, as I said. But I guess the one concern I have is they did lose Logan Thomas, their tight end, to a hamstring issue. And I think they lost another wide receiver. It might have been like Cam Sims or somebody. But they still
But they
Terry
get Curtis
McLaurin.
Samuel.
They get Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin. So that's like the upgrade for this team. And they still have Antonio Gibson. So I think points will be had for the Saints, or not Saints, the Washington offense. Now, I will say, like, the Saints defense had some breakdowns last week. Things didn't look right. I did the film review on the Giants-Saints game. Their rookie, Paulson Adebo, at corner for the Saints just looked lost on a couple of plays. So they can probably exploit that matchup there if he's happened to be matched up with McLaurin or even Samuel. I am interested to see if Samuel gets more involved here because he didn't play like a lot of snaps last week. They're kind of working him in slowly here, but I feel like with the injuries, maybe they give him the full workload here against the Saints. Now, as for the Saints offense, like I don't know who they are, like what their identity is. They're going to take their deep shots with James Winston here and there, but their strategy is weird. Like they try to run the ball up the gut with Alvin Kamara 25 times and see what he can do. Like, yes, it kind of works, but like Alvin Kamara, I don't think had a target last week. I know he didn't have a catch, but he may not have had a target. So I don't know how you don't use one of the best receiving backs in football and use his strength. It made no sense to me. So if you're not going to use Alvin Kamara in that way, and Michael Thomas is still out, I don't know what the Saints offense is going to do here. And we know that Washington can generate pressure. The Saints did have two pretty big offensive line injuries last week. Their left tackle and center. Don't know if they'll be back for this game, but they are a bit hobbled there. So I guess Washington's defense can take advantage of that. And we know Jameis Winston, especially on the road here, can make some mistakes. So I will take Washington. I think it'll be a close game, but we'll see. I feel kind of good about them, but it does suck that Logan Thomas is out. I'll put it that way. So now on to the Green Bay Packers. They're at the Cincinnati Bengals off extended rest here. The Packers are only a -3, so showing some respect to the Bengals. I'm still taking the Packers, and you're going to take the Bengals.
Yeah, give me the Bengals. I mean, I know they didn't shut out the Jaguars, which is what I predicted. And I think many people expected maybe the Bengals to show up against a bad team last week in the Jacksonville Jaguars, but they still won the game. And I think in the second half, they showed a lot of strengths, and they were able to come back from a 14-0 deficit. It probably should have been 16. Urban Meyer probably should have kicked the field goal as opposed to going for it on fourth down. But when you're the worst team, maybe that wasn't the worst decision in the world. You try and get an edge. But they have momentum going into halftime, and they carried it into the second half, and they looked really, really good. Joe Burrow is legit, and I figured that out by now. I thought there might have been a little bit of a curve at the start of the season because he's coming off a really, really bad injury last year, very gruesome. But he's shown really no mobility changes, and he's kind of looked like the same guy. And I feel like the Bengals are moving right now. They have a lot of confidence. They really have nothing to lose. And the Packers, while at the same time, they also look really, really good. I think maybe they crumble in this game. I think maybe they're not ready for a Bengals team that I think might surprise the Green Bay Packers in this one. This is another one where I look at the spread like you, and I was like, wow, it's only 3.5. Maybe I'm missing something here. And I kind of like the Bengals in general this year. So if I'm missing something, maybe that's a good thing. And I'm going to go with my cut. And I'm going to go with the team that I've liked all year long so far, and I'm going to go with the Cincinnati Bengals.
You said 3.5. I have it as 3, just so you know, unless
Oh, okay.
you want to change
No,
or
I
something. I
was
mean,
no, 3. Yeah, sorry.
um, yeah, I mean, I don't think the Packers are looking at the Bengals and are taking them lightly. I think, we all saw them play on Thursday and they were shut out at halftime and they came back and scored, 24 points in the second half. Like, I think Green Bay knows that Cincinnati has a pretty legit offense. Now, we don't know about the availability of Joe Mixon, who was the running back for the Bengals. That could be a big loss for them, of course. They give him a lot of work there. They probably do get T. Higgins back, so that's going to help them, of course, and having already Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd there against the Packers defense that has had up and down moments this year. I mean, they played well against the Steelers, but who doesn't these days, So there's definitely something to be said about that. But I just don't see Green Bay in a game like this not covering 3 points or, not winning by 3 or more. I just don't see that. I feel like the Packers, I hold them to a different standard than the Bengals. I do respect the Bengals. They're having a good year so far. And as I said, Joe Burrow was very impressive and has looked a lot better than probably we anticipated this early on. But I respect the Packers too much. And I think Aaron Rodgers and even Randall Cobb looked good last week. It felt like it was
Yeah.
2013 back there. But yeah, it was just like it was cool to see that, of course. And I think they could run on Cincinnati. Cincinnati does have a pretty good pass rush. And the Packers did lose some offensive linemen. Of course, their center Lindsley and Bakhtiari's out. So that's a concern I have. But I think Aaron Rodgers can read this defense and kind of put them in the best position to succeed. So, if the Bengals win this one or even cover, I will start to take them a lot more seriously. They're a good story so far, but who they beat? They beat the Jaguars, they beat the crappy Steelers, and who else did they beat? They beat the Vikings week 1 on a game where they probably could have easily lost. So, yeah, I'm not really fully bought in yet. I am impressed, but the Packers, as I said, I hold them to a different level. Matt LaFleur is like 29-7 lifetime in the regular season. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take them against the Bengals here. So, in division matchup here, speaking of the Packers division, the Detroit Lions are at the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota's a -9, which is a lot of points. I'm taking Minnesota, though, and you're going to take the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, I don't think Detroit is necessarily competitive in this game early on, but they've shown time and time again that if you leave them time to score in the third, fourth quarter, they'll put up some points and they'll make it a little uneasy at the end, which is why I went with them in this game. 9 points for a team that can do that and that has done that all season long, I think is a little dangerous because they can have a backdoor touchdown that lets them cover at the end of the game. And frankly, this Minnesota Vikings defense hasn't been great so far. It hasn't been what everybody's expected it to be so far. And maybe it gets better, but the Detroit Lions have surprised a lot of people, and I know they have a bad record. I understand that. They're the Detroit Lions. They do have a bad record. That's what everybody expected. But I don't think anybody expected, Jared Goff to actually look pretty good as the quarterback for the Lions. He doesn't have a lot of weapons around him. The only weapon he really has offensively is maybe, obviously, T.J. Hawkinson and DeAndre Swift. But other than that, I mean – he doesn't really have many great talent guys to throw to. He's a lot of young receivers, and he's been able to step in there and have an instant impact. And I think the backdoor touchdown that the Lions have been constantly getting is, I think, what kills the Vikings spread here.
So you're telling me that Quintez Cephas and is Khalif Raymond on the Lions, or is he on the?
I don't know. I know Amon-Ra.
Yeah. Are you saying those guys are not legit wide receivers, Andrew? What are you trying to say?
No, they're just young. They're unproven. I like Quintez Cephas. He's the best name in the NFL.
They've been missing Tyrell Williams, which has kind of been a low-key loss that no one's talking about. But he was more their established veteran guy. Of course, they cut Brashad Perriman before the year started. So not having Tyrell Williams might be a bigger loss than people expected here for the Lions. But you look at the Lions defense, they are dreadful. They lost who I think is maybe their best pass rusher, him or Flowers, but they lost Romeo Okwara, tore his Achilles, former Giant. So, hopefully he is back for next year at full strength. But that was crappy to see, of course. So they lose their best pass rusher. They couldn't rush the passer in the first place. They can't stop the run for their lives. Dalvin Cook, I don't know if he's playing, but we saw Alexander Madison fill in a couple weeks ago and did the same thing. So not to be the whole running backs don't matter type thing, but I feel against this Lions defense, give him enough space and he'll run through an open hole and he'll catch screen passes. Like, I feel like they'll be fine. So I do like this -9 more with Dalvin Cook. But either way, the Lions maybe have the worst secondary in football. I don't think that's really a stretch or anything, especially with no Jeff Okuda now. And you have, Justin Jefferson is balling right now. Even Tyler Conklin's kind of getting involved. Adam Thielen, of course. Who's that random guy that's their third receiver that catches the touchdowns? Is it KJ Osborne or something? I forget his name. But they got somebody else there. They got somebody else there catching long passes. Like, I think Kirk Cousins will have all the time in the world to throw in this game. And when you give Kirk Cousins an easy matchup and time to throw, he'll put up 350 and 3 touchdowns. I expect that type of game here from him. And as for the Lions offense, I don't know what to expect. I mean, Minnesota's defense has been disappointing, but this could be a get-right game. They have a lot of good names on that defense, a lot of good personnel. They haven't put it together yet completely. They had one good game against Seattle in week 3, but they have yet to really put it together. This could be the game. I think that I think the Vikings probably win this one like 31-17. So I will take the Vikings there. It is a pretty large spread, but I think the Vikings win by a good amount here. So next, we have the Denver Broncos, either led by Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock. We'll find out. Of course, we don't know right now. But right now, Pittsburgh is a -1 at home here. So I'm taking the Steelers with the uncertainty at quarterback, and you don't care. You're going to go with the Broncos.
Yeah, give me the Broncos. I mean, I don't really know what the Pittsburgh Steelers are. I listen to a lot of sports radio. Maybe I'm a boomer in that way, but I listen to Mike Greenberg at around lunchtime, and he said what I think was like very smart. It almost seemed obvious, but it was smart. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a win-now team that doesn't win. That's what they are. They're a win-now team that doesn't win, and they're in a bad situation. Their quarterback's like a tree. The guy doesn't move. He stands in the pocket the whole time, and this Denver Broncos pass rush has been dangerous, and their defense as a whole has been dangerous. I know a lot of people gave them flack for not attacking the linebacker position, for really stacking up on corner, but I think so far this season it's helped them a lot, having a lot of depth at that secondary spot. And their offense, whether it's led by Drew Lock or led by Teddy Bridgewater, there's a lot of talent around both of them. I would feel a lot more comfortable if Teddy Bridgewater was the quarterback. But at the end of the day, you're still throwing to some really, really good guys offensively. You got a good running back room with Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. So Drew Lock isn't an incompetent quarterback either. Like, we've seen him have really, really good games, and maybe this Pittsburgh defense scares him a little bit. Maybe he doesn't perform that well. We've also seen him have really, really bad games. But, if Teddy Bridgewater's in, I feel like you would have went with the Broncos, and I feel like you didn't because you might not know if he's in or not. But you know what? You're a big Drew Lock guy. I'm a little disappointed that you didn't trust in your man. But I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos because I just think they're the better team, and they've showed up so far this season as the Pittsburgh Steelers have not.
I am a Drew Lock guy. I like his upside. Arm talent, pocket awareness, but
big Josh Rosen guy too, guys.
A lot of bad decisions. I'm a big Josh Rosen guy. We got the bobblehead. Did you give me this bobblehead actually?
Yeah, I got you for Christmas.
The Josh Rosen bobblehead doesn't stand up very well, but it's here. And
really?
It's pretty cool. I'll keep it over here on the desk next to CC and Jeter. But yeah, anyway. What was I talking about? You got me distracted. Oh, so Drew Lock played the Steelers last year in Pittsburgh, and I thought he played the whole game and played like crap, but he actually got knocked out in that game. He was 1 for 5 for 20 yards. I think him and Sutton actually got hurt in that same game against Pittsburgh. So last year, Pittsburgh won this matchup 26-21. Different circumstances, of course. But yeah, I don't know. The Steelers aren't that good in my opinion. I completely will admit that. This will be a very defensive heavy game here, if that makes sense. The over-under, I just looked at it, is 39.5. Like, that's a very low score.
That's low.
Yeah, so I was thinking of hey, I'll take the under here, but even that's very low. So I don't know. But yeah, Pittsburgh's offense, I mean, it's hard to get behind it because I see there's been 2 instances this year where the Steelers have a 4th and 5 or a 4th and 10, and Ben Roethlisberger's throwing the ball behind the line of scrimmage and expects to get the first down. It's the way this offense is ran right now is terrible. But I do hope that Drew Lock, as much as I like him, is the starter in this game because he can make mistakes. And the Steelers defense got a lot of the guys back last week, so they should be better. I think Pittsburgh can win a gross game here, just I don't know, 16-13 type game. I think they can win something like that here that will cover the spread. So, yeah, I'm not asking for much here. I feel like Pittsburgh, if they are serious about even being over 500 this year, they have to win this game. They can't let it one against the Broncos here get away. I think they have some tough opponents coming up too. I think they play Seattle and some other pretty tough teams. So like they have to get this win here, the Steelers, if they want to be serious. And I feel like they have the guys on defense to do it. Yes, the Broncos have a lot of good, personnel on their offense, but I feel like the Steelers' run defense is good enough. Their pass rush will get there, especially if Drew Lock's the quarterback. He loves to hold on to the ball and make some bad decisions. So I'll take the Steelers. Their backs are against the wall here, and I feel like a must-win for them. So I'll take them and the better coach. I like Vic Fangio. Don't get me wrong, but Mike Tomlin, he's been one of the best coaches. Has never been below 500. So I'll take him. Next, we have the Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have a 10-day bye week, and they are 4-point underdogs. Tennessee is a -4. So I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars, actually, and you're going to take the Tennessee Titans with the uncertainty of, Julio Jones and A.J. Brown. We don't know if they're playing, but I don't know. I feel like Julio's going to play. A.J. Brown might not play. That's the way I think, but we'll see.
The Jaguars are 0-4, and they looked good last week. I'll say they looked better. Trevor Lawrence looked good, and I like what I see from Trevor. I like when the rookie quarterbacks work out because, I root for him, and I think Zach Wilson played well. He played awesome at the end, and Trevor Lawrence played well. Trey Lance played well. But the bottom line is there's a little too much attention to that Jaguars team this week. And I'm not really sure why there's a lot of attention to that Jaguars team. It's not like their coach, was like hanging out with some younger lady at an Ohio bar or anything like that. But there's just a lot of attention around them. And I don't know, it's probably a short week of practice. A lot of closed-door meetings in that Jacksonville Jaguars building about, whether Urban Meyer is going to be able to stay and he has to apologize to the team. They just – they had some cohesion, and then they just broke, just like that after Urban Meyer did what he did. And, and Urban Meyer's kind of an ass in that way. He's kind of always been that weird guy that just kind of always makes the wrong decision at times. And you know what? Maybe the Jaguars team is a little off this week. Maybe their attention is swayed elsewhere. And I just think the Titans are coming off an embarrassing loss to the Jets. And it's not like embarrassing like they got crushed. It's embarrassing that they lost to the Jets. And maybe they have a sense of urgency there, or maybe, the Titans are like, hey, we got to get this thing going. It's a division game. They're on the road, but this Titans offense is lethal, and their defense is bad. I understand that, but the Jaguars defense isn't great either. And I think that Derrick Henry is going to run all over the field, and I think even without one of two of Julio Jones or A.J. Brown, they're still going to be able to move the ball down the field. So I think they win this game by probably about a touchdown. That's what I would be willing to bet if all things go right in my head. But, I just think there's a lot of attention on the Jaguars this week. That it's not necessarily on the game and more on off-the-field issues, which I always think could be a very big distraction for players. So I want to stay away from them this week.
I knew you were going to bring up the Urban Meyer thing. I knew it.
Well, why wouldn't I?
No, did you see
the guy doesn't know how to handle Thursday night losses. He's never lost on Thursday night. He's never lost. In college, he was a mastermind. He didn't know how to handle it.
Fair. Yeah, he's not used to losing, just like Trevor Lawrence. Did you see I think there was a video of Urban Meyer breaking down their practice today, and he said grind or something, and they tried to rally around that. I think they're going to use this to their advantage. I feel like the Jaguars, if they are a tight group, which they could be, maybe they're not, I don't know. But I feel like they will rally behind this and be like, you know what, the media doesn't know what they're talking about. Urban Meyer's not going anywhere. We're going to be fine. And maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea. But I feel like this could be something that kind of helps them get momentum, if that makes sense. I know people look at it as a distraction and will not help the Jaguars. But for some reason, I feel like the team might rally behind this because personally, I'm like, whatever. If the guy wants to do it during his off time, let him do what the hell he wants. I personally don't really care. Yes, he's an ass for doing it, but still, it doesn't really bother me either way. So anyway, for the game here, Jacksonville, I think, has a good enough offense, in my opinion, with James Robinson. I know they lost Chark, but now they have Laviska Shenault, who will play a bigger role. Marvin Jones will play a bigger role. And, they will have – I think they got Dan Arnold, too, the tight end from wasn't the Cardinals. Where was he from now? He went – the Panthers. They will implement all those guys, and I feel like have some success against a very beatable Tennessee defense who, as we saw, they broke down against Zach Wilson in the second half. And, I feel like Trevor Lawrence is, maybe has more raw talent than Ryan Tannehill. I feel like both defenses suck. And I feel like if you put Trevor Lawrence versus Ryan Tannehill, but Ryan Tannehill may not have one or even two of his top receivers. This game may be a lot closer than we think it is. I think that Tennessee may win this game by 2 or 3 points. So, I will take the points in this game. I feel like this game is a lot closer than maybe we make it out to be, because we look at Jacksonville and we're like, oh, they suck. But like, they also had 10 days off. Tennessee is coming off a pretty tough loss to the Jets, of course, in overtime. And when a team plays in overtime the previous week, sometimes they don't recover as well the next week. That's, I feel like that's been proven in numbers before. I've heard the stat. I don't remember it, but I've heard the stat about it, that teams that play in overtime don't really do well covering the spread the following week. So, yeah, I will go with the Jaguars. Don't know if they win, but I think they can probably lose this game by 2 or 3. Now, here we go. The Philadelphia Eagles. They are on the road at the Carolina Panthers. This spread is actually pretty close. I figured it'd be a lot more. But anyway, Carolina's a -3.5, and I guess you agree with me because you're going to go with Carolina here, -3.5.
Yeah, you know what? It's just not the Eagles' year. And it's a little disappointing because usually when the Yankees lose in the playoffs, I have something to fall back on. You know what I mean? I don't really follow basketball that much. I know that's starting up again. But I usually have like a decent Eagles team to fall back on, and this year that's not the case. And that's all right because that happens in football. A lot of teams go through these periods, and the bottom line is the Eagles just aren't good enough to beat a team like the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers are rolling right now. I know the Eagles' offense looked good, and it has looked good for the majority of the season. I don't think that's a problem, but their defense it's bad. And after the first week, everybody was like, wow, they didn't even let up a touchdown to the Atlanta Falcons. Maybe there's something there. But then they gave up, back-to-back 40-point games to the Cowboys and the Chiefs. And I understand those are really, really good offenses, but so far the Panthers have been a really, really good offense. And Sam Darnold has looked really comfortable. They have some new pieces. They just got Stephon Gilmore. Obviously, I think C.J. Henderson went there as well. They have some secondary help, which, might have been a main problem with them going into the season. And I just think this is a game where it comes down to the better team. And I simply think that the Panthers are a lot better than the Eagles this year. And I think they cover by a little more than probably 4 or 5, maybe 6, maybe even a touchdown in this one. I don't think it's going to be relatively close. Maybe the Eagles hit them with a backdoor touchdown at the end. I'm not really sure. But the weakest part of this team and the Panthers got better this week. And I think they carry that over and they perform really, really well in this game.
Yeah, for some reason I wanted to take the Eagles in this one, but then I was like, you know what? No, I'm getting too cute with that. But there's something about this spread where you see it's only 3.5, and you're like, even the Panthers are home too. I could see if they were on the road, but they're home and only favored by 3.5. So something's kind of fishy about the spread. I think the Eagles may actually keep this one close. I don't feel that confident about it. Your secondary in Philadelphia is not the most impressive, obviously. I mean, Tyreek Hill damn near had 200 yards against you, so that wasn't the best showing for them. But we know that Carolina has the weapons, of course. We're not sure about McCaffrey, whether he's going to play. I'd be surprised if he does, but we'll find out. But even if he doesn't play, I feel like the combination of DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, like they should be fine here, Terrace Marshall. And we talked about Sam Darnold, of course, looking very comfortable this year. And Philadelphia's offensive line, let's be honest, they're breaking down again as usual. They're injured. And right now, I mean, Carolina can generate some pass rush here. Of course, Brian Burns being one of the better younger pass rushers in football. So they should be able to get some pressure here, but this could be a spot where Jalen Hurts puts up a big game. I feel like this could be a spot for him where he is able to roll out, get a lot of rushing yards, and kind of put the offense on his back. We saw Devontae Smith get more involved. So I don't know. Unless Jalen Hurts has like a big game here, I just don't know how Carolina loses. I feel like you could exploit Carolina's defense on the ground. We saw the Cowboys do it, but you guys just refuse to run the ball with Nick Sirianni, so I don't know if he'll take advantage of that either. So I have my concerns. I think Carolina's going to put up points in this one. Maybe your offense matches them. It should be a high-scoring game, but we'll see. I will take Carolina because I feel like they are the better team by a good amount, and it's only 3.5. Now on to the Miami Dolphins. They're at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is at -10. I'll go first and make this one quick. I think that Tampa has a huge bounce-back week here because they were slow offensively. They're back at home. Sunny Tampa Bay here. I know Gronk's probably out this game once again. I think he's doubtful, but I don't really care. Miami is in a tough spot right now. Will Fuller's back on the IR. Jacoby Brissett's still their quarterback. Miami's defense has no offensive line, no pass rush either. And when you have no pass rush against Tom Brady, you're asking to get thrown all over. So I feel like Tampa Bay is going to have a huge offensive day. And if they put up near 40 points, I just don't see the Dolphins matching that. So I'll take the Buccaneers by a lot.
Yeah, I'll keep it short too. Tom Brady's been really, really good against the Dolphins in his career, over in New England. And he was a little shaken up in that New England game. You could tell, it affected him a lot more than people thought. And I think maybe he comes back and he gets a bounce back week, gets it right back on track, completely cleanses his mind of anything, in Foxborough last week. And I think they get a blowout win. Like you said, the Dolphins are just at a low point this year. Backup quarterback, some of their offensive weapons are hurt. And they just overall haven't really looked that great. And Tampa Bay is a fantastic team offensively and defensively. So I think Tampa Bay can cover 10.
Yeah, I agree with you. This is another one, a pretty big spread here. The New England Patriots on the road are favorites by 8.5 at the Houston Texans. I thought this spread was going to be like 13 points. I was surprised to see 8.5. This is actually one of my favorite bets this week. I'll admit it now. But yeah, I'm going with New England for sure. And you are too, right? Yes, you are.
Yeah, again, this is another short one. It's like, I took the Texans with some optimism that maybe they would get something going offensively last week. That obviously wasn't the case.
Nothing.
And I know they played a really, really good Buffalo Bills defense, but they didn't do anything. And you can't sit here and tell me that the defense for the Bills was trying super, super hard when they were up like 33-0. Like there were probably opportunities to put some points up on the board there. And New England's coming off a loss, and, they have some urgency within that organization right now. And they have a lot of people that I'm sure Bill Belichick's heard the noise that, he's nothing without Brady. He wants to get out there and he wants to get some wins. I think this is a possibility where they can blow them out here and show that they're a good team that can blow out bad teams. And, I just think overall, the Patriots are just the better team, and I was kind of shocked that it was low too. I thought this would be a double-digit spread, maybe more in the 11, 12 area, maybe not 13. But New England for me is a pretty good bet as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Tyrod Taylor is still on the IR. This is, I think, week 3 of him being on the IR, maybe. I think it is. So he's still going to be out. It's still going to be Davis Mills and whoever else they have at quarterback now. And I just think this is a game where, as you said, like New England has to show like they are legit. They should be playoff contenders. And this is a very easy matchup for them. I think Damian Harris has a huge game on the ground for them. Mac Jones should have time to throw here, and they should be fine on the play action because if they're running the ball so well, I think they can, have some play action for Mac Jones and give him time to throw. So, yeah, I think New England wins this one very comfortably, and I think New England still has a good secondary for the most part. We saw how well they played against Tom Brady. Maybe part of that was because Bill knows Tom so well, and some of the guys on the Patriots defense were there last year. But, we saw Matthew Judon get very involved. Even he's new on this team. So there are guys that are making impact on this team, and I feel like their defense is still really good, even despite trading Stephon Gilmore, who, yes, didn't play this year. But, by the way, Andrew, I tweeted this before. I think we talked about this in the past. Why didn't they trade Stephon Gilmore last year, and they could have got a lot more?
I think we have. Like in the offseason, I was saying they should have traded Stephon Gilmore. Yeah. I just felt like it was a year they weren't really going to do much, and it was a year like usually when teams just get rid of some of their star players when they're not really expecting too many wins. Yeah, I'm kind of shocked. I mean, a 6th-round pick, it's better than releasing him, which is what they were originally going to do. So I guess they benefit there. But, yeah, could have gotten a lot more in the offseason.
Yeah, I feel like I know he's like 30, 31 now, but if you traded him when he was 29 coming off the Defensive Player of the Year award, I feel like you could have gotten a third, maybe a third, but I would say at least a fourth in that case.
And I mean the Panthers are like a win now team. We just went over it. Like they're playing really, really good football. They have a chance to take a risk on a veteran cornerback that has played at a high level for very, very long. So, I think it's maybe a benefit to both sides, but the Patriots could have gotten a little more if they just, did it at the right time.
Yeah, you saw the Panthers lose J.C. Horn, and now they're kind of just seeing what sticks, and they're getting new guys in here. So I feel like they're doing a good job of making attempts here at least. Next, we have a good game, I think, at least. I think it's a 4 o'clock game now. Maybe New England was 4 o'clock. I forget. This might be the start of the 4 o'clock games.
New England's 1 o'clock.
Are they? So first of the 4 o'clock games here.
Yep.
Thank you. Cleveland Browns at the Los Angeles Chargers here. Los Angeles Chargers -1.5 at home. I'm taking the Chargers, and you have the Browns as a favorite bet this week. So go ahead, sell me on this
Yeah,
one.
give me the Brownies. They're going to win this game. I feel
Okay.
really confident in that. I feel like they have the better team overall. And I feel like this is the week that Justin Herbert kind of takes a step back. He's facing a really, really strong defense in the Cleveland Browns. He's going to face a ton of pressure. And I just don't know if they can afford to double team Myles Garrett without some type of pressure getting in on another side of the line. I think Justin Herbert's going to be pressured in this game. I think he's going to get tested. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the more veteran team, the more experienced team, which is in this scenario, the Cleveland Browns. I know they're out west. I know maybe your body time might not be used to it, but to them it's like a 1 o'clock game, I guess, right? So it's not like it's a 1 o'clock game and they're playing in California, so that really doesn't matter to me. And I think it comes down to the more experienced team, the better team, and I think the Chargers unfortunately take a loss in this one.
Hmm. I'll bet you on this one as well. I feel good about the Chargers. I know it's a short week. But yeah, my guy Baker Mayfield, he looked bad last week. He missed at least 4, maybe 5 throws that should have been big plays. And my other guy, Odell Beckham, should have had 3 touchdowns in that one, at least 2. And if Baker's going to look like that, I just don't trust him against a good
It's
Chargers
Odell being on
defense
the
here.
field.
You think so?
Yep.
Don't know about that. I mean, they missed Jarvis Landry. There's no doubt about that to me. But more of that security blanket for that offense. But yeah, I don't know. The Browns' offense, they can run the ball, obviously, but like I don't really trust their passing game right now. I respect the Chargers secondary, so I don't trust Baker Mayfield in the spot too much. You guys know I love him, but I don't know. But as for the Chargers' offense, I mean, the Browns' defense has played really well. Their pass rush is getting there, but the Chargers' new and improved offensive line has been very good so far, and Rashawn Slater's been playing out of his mind. So hopefully he holds up against who's going to be against? Probably Myles Garrett. So that is going to be a good matchup to look for there. But if Rashawn Slater holds his own and gives Justin Herbert this, great quarterback a lot of time, they should be fine. And like the Chargers can beat you in so many different ways. I mean, Austin Eckler out of the backfield, and even Mike Williams didn't get involved last week, and they still put up somewhere in the high 20s. How many points did the Chargers score on Monday night? Like 27?
Yeah, they
Somewhere
won 24-14, was it? Or
like
28-14.
Yeah,
I think it was.
28.
Yeah.
They scored 28 with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen probably combining for less than 50 yards. Like it was like that's what they can do to you. They were beating them with Donald Parham and Jared Cook on offense. So like they have a lot of weapons here, and I just don't know if the Browns can cover all of them. But I do think it's gonna be a great game. I just feel more confident about the Chargers, especially being at home in this spot. So we'll see, but it will be fun to watch. Next, we have the Chicago Bears at the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas is a -5.5. The Bears announced that Justin Fields is their starter, I believe, going forward, is what Matt Nagy said, or something along those lines. So he will be the starter. So, yeah, that's new news for the Bears.
Who'd you go with?
I went with we actually both went with Las Vegas. Sorry, I didn't say that. Both
Yeah, I
Las
mean, I don't
Vegas.
really feel too great about this one. I feel like coming off a loss, John Gruden's probably pretty good in his NFL career coming off a loss. So there's that going for the Las Vegas Raiders. But at the same time, playing against a rookie quarterback is always difficult for defenses because they don't really have a lot to go off of when it comes to film. So sometimes they're like, very unexpected and it's very raw out there. And maybe that works to their advantage a little bit, the Bears. But at the same time, this Raiders offense is good. I mean, it is good. And last week they got off to a slow start, a very, very slow start against the Chargers. But they picked it up in the second half. And if it wasn't for a missed field goal by Dylan Carlson there, it's a 4-point game. And they're right back in it. And I feel like the Raiders are one of those teams that a lot of people after the loss last week kind of went back to their old opinions about them. Yeah, they're the same old Raiders team that gets off to a hot start and kind of flushes out towards the middle of the year. But this is a Chicago Bears team that's not very good. And maybe with a rookie quarterback, they're even worse. Maybe it takes a little bit of time for Justin Fields to get going. And I feel like the Raiders can beat them by like a touchdown or 6 points, which is what they would need to do to cover this spread. So I'm going to go with the Raiders.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Pretty much all that. Yeah, just that Chicago's offensive line is just not been it. And Justin Fields loves to hold on to the ball, as we know. Their offense looked a lot better last week. I'll give them credit, but just so far, the Raiders pass rush has been there with Ngakoue and Crosby. So like I feel like they should get enough pressure here on the rookie quarterback and hopefully force him into some mistakes. Even some of the guys in the Raiders secondary have played well, Casey Hayward and Trayvon Mullins. So Damon Arnett, did you see that Damon Arnett play against Mike Williams, how bad he looked? I mean, that was
Oh
like,
yeah.
I feel bad. I don't actually know. Let me rephrase. I don't feel bad because they reached on Damon Arnett in the first round. Like I liked Damon Arnett. I'll admit I liked him as a prospect in like the end of round 2. But to take him in the middle of the first, it was like, wow, that was quite the reach. And I feel like they're a bit overconfident with their draft picks sometimes. Even Alex Leatherwood got exposed by Joey Bosa on a play. But yeah, the Raiders offense should be okay here. I mean, I know Chicago has a pass rush, but I feel like the Raiders, now they got Josh Jacobs back, they have more of a balanced attack offensively. Like, yes, they did pretty well, Peyton Barber running the ball, but even if the pass rush is really good, they can dump it off to Kenyon Drake and he'll figure a way, to get some first downs in key situations there. Obviously, covering Darren Waller is going to be tough for these guys, as we know, for just about everybody, and they have enough weapons to beat you deep. So, unless the Raiders are complete frauds, which could be the case, this should be a game where they win, I would say, once again, by 6-7 points or maybe more. So I'll take the Raiders there. I don't feel great about it once again because the Bears still have a good roster, but I feel like the Raiders at home at least should be the better team coming off this loss. Next, we have the San Francisco 49ers at the undefeated Arizona Cardinals. Arizona's only a minus 5.5, and we're actually both going to take the 49ers here.
Yeah, you know what? Maybe this is the week that Arizona, gets a little overconfident. They're like, oh, yeah, we're 4-0, 4-0. They're going against a very, very good play caller in Kyle Shanahan, a very, very good offensive schemer, if you will. Look, Trey Lance starting in this game maybe hurts us here. His inexperience against really great competition is low. He doesn't have much experience against like NFL caliber players. He played D2 in college, respectively. It was like the best D2 program of all time. But still, it's D2. And at the end of the day, there's going to be a learning curve eventually. But I think his talent transitions into the NFL rather swiftly. Wow, I said that like rather swiftly. Yeah, it was
swiftly. Yeah.
Yeah, rather swiftly. No, but I just feel like him and Kyle Shanahan are a dirty combo. And when it was draft time, I was like, Mac Jones would be a mistake because Mac Jones is a very limited quarterback. And when you have a chance to get a guy like Trey Lance, who you could pair up with Kyle Shanahan, I thought that was the move. And you know what? They had plus 400 odds for it to be the move at one point, and I didn't take it, and I should have because it was Trey Lance time in San Francisco. He looked decent last week. Like you said, sometimes he just throws the ball. He doesn't really know where he's throwing it, but that's a part of the learning curve. And I think Arizona, as good as they are, maybe is a little overconfident in this game. And this 49ers team is really, really good. They're in a really, really good division. And I think the 49ers go out there and they show the Arizona Cardinals that they are also a top team in this league.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I talked about the whole Trey Lance thing with you, how he'll have a guy open like 5 yards downfield and just throw the ball 70 miles per hour, like right at the guy, which is kind of funny. So he has to learn to put more touch on the ball. But we saw with Trey Lance, even in the half he played, he was almost invincible back there. They couldn't sack him. They literally could not sack him. There were so many times, about 3, 4, maybe 5 times, where Trey Lance was just dead. I think Trent Williams left the game, their left tackle at one point as well. I don't know if he's out for this game or not. That would be pretty important. We should have looked that up. But anyway, there were times where Trey Lance just looked like he was done for and just like duck under guys, kind of like prime Carson Wentz, honestly, but even better. And we know how like physically dominant Trey Lance is. He would get out of these situations and run forward for a first down. So like if he can avoid the pass rush here of Arizona, which is pretty impressive, then they should be fine. Like I don't see Trey Lance having a bad performance, and he brings a different element to this team of like, hey, we can run these read options here, and maybe fake the ball to Trey Sermon or get Elijah Mitchell back, and we could even put Deebo Samuel in the backfield. Like I feel like there is so much more for Kyle Shanahan to work with here, and it's not on film yet. Like there was some preseason games, of course, with Trey Lance at the helm, but like there's nothing, outside of a half of football last week where they had to throw Trey Lance into the game. They have not had a game plan fully surrounded with Trey Lance, and there is a chance that Garoppolo plays. I don't see it happening, honestly. So if this is like the first game where you get Trey Lance with not any tape on him, this could be like a pretty tough task here
Yeah.
for the Arizona
Yeah.
defense, I will say. Now, it's hard to bet against Arizona. They're the number one scoring offense in football, but I do think that San Fran's offense, based on the unknown, could do enough here to keep this one close. I mean, maybe Arizona still wins this one. It's definitely possible, but I do feel like San Fran's offense will kind of, keep the clock going and keep the time of possession here by running the ball a lot, and Trey Lance will make the open throw. So I think I like their chances of keeping this one close. And hey, maybe they win. We've seen crazier things. Next, we have the New York Giants. They are at the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is a -7. It's definitely a huge game for my Giants here. I feel like if they win this one, the season's still alive. If we lose this one, then I feel like very good chance there's playoffs are not happening this year. So I'm kind of treating this one like it's life or death. So, to me, the Giants got to win this one. And I guess maybe either out of fandom or what, I'm just going to take the Giants. I definitely could see a scenario. I could see a scenario where Dallas beats the crap out of us because we're a bit ahead of ourselves. But I don't know. I feel like either the Giants win this game or get killed. So give me the Giants and hopefully they win. That's pretty much all.
Yeah, it's build off momentum week, and I'm going with the Giants as well. And you know what? I'm pretty confident about it. All right, I think this Giants team is going to show up, and I don't mean to hype up all the Mike Too Nice fans out there, and prepare them for upset. But you know what? At the same time, the Giants team looked good last week, and if Daniel Jones plays the way he's been playing so far, he's going to have no problem against this defense. You saw that it took a little bit for Jason Garrett to open the playbook, and he did it in the second half last week, but maybe that was just an extended preseason. We didn't see Daniel Jones a lot in the preseason, so maybe he needed some extra work with that offense before he was able to fully be able to do everything he possibly could. And you know what? 7 points here is a lot. I understand this Cowboys offense is unreal, and they are legit this year as much as that pains me to say. It's finally the year where they're not going to underperform, I imagine, but you know what? For a Giants team that's coming off a win, a really big win on the road against a pretty good New Orleans Saints team, I feel like they might be able to build off that momentum. Joe Judge seems like a team builder kind of guy that would, say that every week, hey, every day, hey, look, we went on the road. We beat this team. We could do the same thing this week. So you know what? I'm riding the Giants train. Again, I don't want to set up New York for more heartbreak this week, but I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to do what I believe in. I picked the Giants last week, and I'm doing it again.
Yeah, of course, I have a more in-depth, game preview for this, but my concerns on both sides are this. Offensively for the Giants, does Jason Garrett continue to do what he was doing? Does he be aggressive? Because realistically, the Giants didn't get aggressive until the final 5 minutes of the game when they had to, plus overtime. So does Jason Garrett come in with a conservative approach or hey, going deep actually works here. We should do that. I don't know if Jason Garrett can figure that out. So hopefully he does. Now, as for the Giants defense, listen, I have to be honest. I'm sorry. I mean, Jason Garrett should be a smart guy. But
I'm mesmerized that we're talking about Jason Garrett and the Giants. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good performance. I was happy watching that they actually sent me what's it called, All 22 or whatever, and it was
It's
really
a
cool.
Jason Garrett revenge game, buddy. Okay,
it is. Yeah, that's my line. That's my line. Thank you. But revenge game, Jason Garrett. But anyway, for the Giants defense, they've been very disappointing. That was supposed to be the best part of their team. And Dallas offensively is just so balanced, and they're playing so well. Their running backs are tremendous. Their run blocking has been tremendous. Dak Prescott's been great since coming back. And I have my concerns because even last week against the Saints, they were letting guys get behind the defense. Kenny Stills had a big touchdown taken off the board because of a holding call. Deontay Harris, I think did he have a touchdown? Someone had a long touchdown, or Marcus Callaway had a long catch, and Deontay Harris should have had a long touchdown, but Taysom Hill underthrew him, thank God. So, yeah, there's going to be opportunities for Dak Prescott to make big throws down the field, and we've seen the post routes before to CeeDee Lamb and what the hell's the other guy's name? Wilson, who did the spin move last week against the Panthers.
Yeah, he's good. It looks nice.
I forget his first name. Something Wilson, number 1. So I think did they get Gallup back this week, or is it too soon? Might be a week too soon.
I think it's a week too soon.
Maybe a week too soon. So anyway, yeah, they still have good receivers. Even Dalton Schultz is no one guards that guy. He just gets open 10-yard touchdowns every week. So the Giants got to figure out a way there to cover him. But I don't know. They got to win this game. I'll put it that way. So the Giants got to figure that crap out. So this is Sunday Night Football. The Buffalo Bills at the Kansas City Chiefs should be a great game here. Kansas City's a -2.5 at home. I'm going with the Chiefs because this reminds me of a game last year. I'm not going to fall for it again. I'll explain what it is later. And you're going to go with Buffalo.
Yeah, you know what? Chiefs just don't impress me that much this year defensively, and the Bills look awesome offensively. And I know they haven't faced like tremendous amount of talent defensively so far, but they're doing it again this week because the Chiefs' defense looks horrible. And if the Eagles' offense is able to score 30 points against this Chiefs' defense, why can't the Bills put up 40 points? Like, why is that impossible? I don't think it is. And I think if they score 40 points with their defensive talent, maybe the Chiefs can't keep up. Maybe Patrick Mahomes is down early and he gets a little anxious and throws passes he shouldn't. He's had a tendency to do that this year. The Bills just look like a more complete team to me. They look like they have it figured out more. And I frankly, I just trust their offense and defense more right now than I do the Chiefs. Keep it short.
I understand why people are taking the Bills. I actually wanted to, and then I remembered last year there was a game against Baltimore. It was in week 3. Both teams came in 2-0, and people were like, "Oh, Baltimore's about to be the best team in football." And of course, the Chiefs, who have been on that throne for a little bit now, they were like, "No, no, no." And they won that game by a lot. I actually just looked up the score. It was 34-20. It felt like a bigger blowout than that, but it was, I think, Sunday Night Football or even Monday Night Football, one of the primetime games last year. And the Kansas City Chiefs won 34-20 at Baltimore. So like, this kind of reminds me of that game where people are kind of out on Kansas City because, oh, they have a bad defense. It's bad. I will completely admit they have a bad defense, but they can also outscore just about any team. So the over-under, I actually want to look at it real quick for this game. It should be a ton of points, honestly.
It's a fair point, Mike.
56 and a half over under here. So it's crazy. And the Bills can, and not the Bills, the Chiefs, well, the Bills could too, but the Chiefs could be anyone in like a boat race type of game. Like, they can put up points on anybody. We saw it against your Eagles last week, who, yes, don't have a defense like the Bills, but we saw what they can do. Like, they are actually running the ball well with Clyde Edwards-Helaire now. And Tyreek Hill almost had 200 yards last week. Even Travis Kelce had a quiet game last week. So like, now they got Josh Gordon implemented in the offense here. We'll see what he can do. But I feel like Kansas City can win this one 45-38 or some type of crazy score. Like, I don't think they're holding Buffalo to a small amount of points. You never know, but I think it's a high-scoring Chiefs win. So I'm going to take them to win by a field goal here.
By the way, just so you guys know, Mike was definitely one of those Ravens guys last year. He was very high on the Ravens last year.
Yeah, definitely. I think I picked them to win the Super Bowl, Andrew. I think I was very high on them.
Yeah, he was one of those guys that he described.
Absolutely. I probably did take that. I think I had the Ravens and the Saints in the Super Bowl last year, so didn't go too well. Next, we have on Monday Night Football, the Indianapolis Colts at the Baltimore Ravens. Speaking of the Ravens are a -7. You're going with your boy Wentz. You're going with Indy, and I'm taking the Ravens here.
Yeah, man. Wentz had a good week last week. He did, and it was against a very poor Dolphins team. I understand.
Yeah,
I understand, but their defense is pretty good. It's not terrible, and this Baltimore Ravens offense, or defense, I should say, hasn't been fantastic, and they've shown vulnerabilities on defense. And you know what? Maybe this is the one game Carson Wentz, goes out and wins. I don't think that's going to happen. But I think he can keep it close. I mean, why not? Wentz in primetime, he's been pretty good in primetime in the past. He's gone to places like Lambeau Field and beaten the Packers in primetime. So why can't he do that?
I don't remember this. What year was
2020. 2019.
Okay. That makes more sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Sometimes he has a chip on his shoulder. And I think as the season goes on, I think Carson Wentz is only going to get better because I think he's going to get more familiar with his coach's system, Frank Reich, his ex-offensive coordinator. So you know what? The Colts aren't going to win this game. I really don't think so. But I think, they could score a backdoor touchdown or maybe get things going offensively and keep it close until the end. So I'm going to back my man Wentz. Maybe it's not the smartest decision in the world. But you know what? I haven't really seen that much from the Ravens that I really, really like. And I think they could blow out the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm not going to go with them.
That's fair. Okay. Yeah, I mean, you did acknowledge Baltimore probably wins this game, and I agree. But I just think like this Ravens team so far has underperformed. Now, they won last week by a good amount. I guess Teddy Bridgewater leaving halfway through had, to help with that. But Lamar Jackson didn't do much as a passer last week, or not much as a runner last week, I meant to say. Like, he was doing a lot of this from the pocket. And the Colts defense has not been as good as we expect so far. I feel like they've been good against the run, which definitely does help because Baltimore loves to run. But Lamar Jackson just shows you, hey, I could pass the ball too. Like, he definitely can do both here. So I feel like whatever defense they throw at him, I think he'll be fine. And Baltimore tends to beat up on bad teams. And I don't want to call the Colts a bad team, but they're not a good team. You know what I mean? Like they're somewhere in the
Yeah.
middle, and I would say they're more closer to bad than good. So I think Baltimore will have some success here, and I see Carson Wentz making a couple mistakes. I'm sorry to say, I think he will make a couple mistakes in this game here. It would help a lot if they could run the ball consistently with Jonathan Taylor, but I just don't trust that to happen. And Quentin Nelson's on the IR, and their offensive line has not looked as good as it has in the past. I'm sure some of that is Carson Wentz holding on to the ball too long, but I feel like the Ravens can get some pressure here and force Wentz into a fumble or an interception or both. And I feel like they'll be able to take advantage of this game in the turnover battle. And of course, the Ravens don't turn the ball over that much. So I feel like they'll be able to win this game by a touchdown or more. So that's where I'm going. So favorite bets this week, Andrew. You are taking the Giants +7 and the Browns +1.5. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers -10 and the New England Patriots -8.5. So you were down by 7 games. I guess you can come back in a week if I really have a bad week here. But how you feeling so far? Do you think by the end of the year you'll be in first place? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, why not? Why not put confidence in myself? Sure, yeah, I'll be in first place by the end of the year. I just think I had a little bit of a learning curve like the first few weeks. You know what I mean? I kind of forgot that the first 2 weeks don't really mean much for a team. Like if a team performs really, really bad in 2 weeks, maybe they can improve in the next week. So, I'm learning. I'm kind of a rookie at this stuff. I am only 17 years old. Mike has some age on me. He's
We don't
watched
need
the
to know
NFL more
that.
than me. But we're learning, and hopefully we'll make a comeback and make things interesting like they were last year.
No, I'd rather win by 30 games if I'm being honest.
I know what you would rather happen.
You
Yeah,
know,
of
you know how
course.
I am. Like I don't like having close competition. If I can stomp on somebody, I'm going to do it. So
Right.
hopefully I somehow destroy
It's
you.
weird. Why are you a Giants fan then?
It's a good point. Yeah, I don't know. I like winning, and I'm a Giants fan.
I'm a Giants fan this year, guys. Come on,
Oh, boy.
G-man.
Are you a Giants fan this year?
Nah, not really. I mean, I don't really think they'll do much, so I don't think rooting for them will really hurt me in the end. But
It's probably
sure.
not. It's probably not the best team to root for, especially with our schedule. All right, so that'll do it for this video. Hopefully everyone enjoyed, and we'll talk to you guys next week.